Hi everyone, today we are going to do an updated Jet.Build product overview, and in particular we will review the updates to the product since our last overview. All right, let's get started here. So where we're sitting right now is a brand new solution. It is the Jet.Build portfolio overview page. As you see here on the left-hand side under portfolio management, you'll see portfolio overview. And what this is doing is exactly what it sounds like. It's giving you a very nice and quick overview of what's going on across all of your projects within Jet with these specific solutions that you're seeing here on this dashboard. And as you scroll down, this will allow you to click directly into these specific action items, in this case, an RFI. And below that, you'll see some examples for submittals. All right, next, let's go ahead and jump into a project. So active projects, I'm going to select one of our demo examples, FA expansion. And what you're seeing is also a brand new refresh to our project overview. So project specific overview page, and how that works and where this sits is you'll see I've selected a project. You'll then see project applications and overview, right? That's where we're at. So first and foremost, you have the ability to expand or minimize your weather, which is of course based on your project location. As always, you have the ability to edit your dashboard as well as edit your project menu. So you can choose what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Obviously, we have here a example of a site cam, project site cam. Below that is a very neat feature that we've just implemented. You'll see project actionables, right? So this is going to, of course, again, give you that nice overview of what's going on specific to this project. And now what's really cool about this solution is our pie chart here is actually clickable, right? So you can click each one of these um, elements and it'll give you a deep dive into that specific action item. So what I did there, as you saw, going back to all items here, I selected due soon, right? And that will expand on what's due soon across my project. And you see here, you got some permits and insurance that are coming up due. Below that, we've also created a faster capability in seeing what is going on in your project. So you're seeing here just more expansive breakout of RFIs, change orders, all of your action items in general. So you could really just dive in immediately. All right, going from there, let's start with some kind of project kickoff items, kind of go in that general order. So I'll go to collaboration files. You'll see here, right, file management. This allows you to create files, create subfolders, add live links. So this will work very much like any SharePoint Dropbox solution and so forth. From there, let's go to drawings. All right, so add your drawing sets to your project. So you start by add drawing set, right? So that's kind of the file name essentially. I'll click structural as an example that we created here. And here's where you could, within that file name is where you can start adding the literal drawing issues, right? So title it, get your issue dates, descriptions. You can automatically notify, groups and or individuals. And this is pulling from project directory. So that'll reflect however you've set up your project directory, whether it be groups and or individuals. Drag and drop your issue file itself. Make sure you follow the below structure in order for the system to read it. And voila, you'll have your drawing issues set up accordingly. You'll see here the ability to parse your drawings by sheet title. So Jet will automatically do that for you. Going back one step to where we're sitting, you'll also have that ability to select two different drawings, go ahead and overlay them. So, 2, 3 click overlays, or you can simply select the drawing editor tool. It was that pen action icon, and this will unlock the drawing tool itself, where you have tons of capability here. You could change your view type, so you could have side by side, single pane like we're looking at now. You can open up your sidebar and flip between your drawings quickly. You can set your scale and then measure. It will lock the corners. You can measure areas as well using the variety of tools as you can see here, perimeters and such. You can directly from the drawing tool insert an RFI. As you can see here, RFIs are coming up in red. Or you can insert a punch list item. Those are coming up in orange. You can always change these colors, and also these tools are interlinked. So you can, from the RFI tool, link a drawing, from the punch list tool, link a drawing, and vice versa. Next is you can add under annotate, right? You could bubble things, you can add text. You can also add this note annotate function. And what that does is it'll pull up your project directory here on the right and allow you to have a communication stream directly in the drawing tool itself. So a really neat tool. You also have here some, action items, right? Accept, reject, etc., and allow you to kind of run a comms back and forth directly from the drawing tool itself. And then lastly, you'll see search, right? So here's your ability to, I think this is a structural drawing, so I'll use the word steel, for example, and you'll see it'll reflect everywhere in this drawing issue where the word steel lives. All right, jumping back to our drawing landing page. Now I'll go down to groups, and then I'll kind of back into user management and the project directory from there. So here's our groups tool, right? Adding a group like you've been seeing as I've been clicking around, adding anything on the product will start on the top right. Label your group name, whether that be a specific company name, whether it be, as we have here, design team, so cross company teams. Up to you, however you want to structure that, of course. You'll see this pen action icon, and what that will do is allow you to issue access control permissions on a group level. Adding users is very easy. You just press this plus action icon, right? This person action, and you could add users there accordingly. You'll also have the ability to create group threads, right? So lots of communications throughout the product, communication capability. So these users are going to pull from, you'll see here, directory. So this is project specific directory. You can create on the top custom presets by selecting, of course, add custom preset. You can add a directory from Excel, from another project, or you can just add them new, right? This is all kind of self-explanatory information. You'll see here, add user to existing group. So if you had your group set up, you can just throw users into the relevant group categories and then assign permission controls. You can pull from, again, your custom presets that you create. You can use our presets that you see here on the left-hand side, or you can just manually select as well. So very much up to you. All right, with that, I'm going to drop down to some construction operations. So construction, I'll start with submittals. So our submittals tool, we have some really neat new additions to the tool. One of them being the ability to download project submittals. So this is coming from client feedback, which we take very seriously. We encourage client feedback, and that allows us to expand on our capabilities and provide our end users with a better product. So click that button, it'll email you that download package. Next is compare submittal versions. It's just an awesome tool where you can select, right, 2 different versions within a submittal or cross submittals, compare them. This will unlock our drawing tool directly for those submittals, and it'll show you what has been added or removed. So turquoise will, of course, mean it's added, and if it were anything highlighted in red, that would reflect a delete, a removal of an item across those versions of submittals. Next, I'll just go with add a submittal. I could have started there, sorry for that. So on the top right, you saw me select add submittal. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Title it, add your recipients by group and or individual. So this will pull again from project directory and or groups. You have the ability, set your due date. You'll have your ability to link a submittal to a spec section. So this is pulling from the specifications tool and or the registry. And that's pulling from submittal registries. I'll show you in a moment. Add your about, drag and drop a file, and then you can throw in custom predefined workflows, or you can just adjust these workflows manually. Again, that's totally up to you. Add your submittal. Everybody who you've added to this process, so both workflow members and recipients, are going to receive an email notification that will also reflect in open items and in-app notifications. So those email notifications are going to link everyone who's involved to the correspondence page, which we'll dive into at RFIs, and I'll show you what that looks like. But last but not least, on the submittal page, I'll jump up to submittal registry. So you can upload via Excel, you can build out your registry entirely here. You can also overlay your registry against your project master schedule, and that way it'll allow you to plan forward, right? So be proactive in terms of how you manage your submittals against your project schedule. All right, going to now drop down to construction and RFIs. So you're going to see a lot of similarities, intentionally so, because we've systematized this processes across your project, right? Across your project and team, so thus across Jet platform. So the nuance difference in RFIs versus Submittal, for example, is you can link drawing sheets directly from RFIs like we saw from the drawing tool, right? Where we linked an RFI and vice versa. Same structure here on the top in terms of recipients, in terms of your workflow members. And then lastly, you have the ability to add this as a bid RFI. So that will allow bidders access specifically and only to this RFI and this information. Again, drag and drop, add it. And like I mentioned prior in that RFI, in the submittal tool, you'll see here that chat correspondence that lives everywhere in the product. This is what I wanted to show you in terms of data on our correspondence tool as an example, where everyone's information is going to be timestamped by user, email, date, and time. All information is indexed, so it's searchable within Jet. You'll see initial files, your workflow that you can manage, general status here on the top left, just quick info. And the email notification links will bring everyone to this page to basically address what they've been assigned to based on workflow process. Accepted and final responses are always on the bottom left. Easy to access, easy to reference. Going back to the landing page, you'll also see toggle open RFIs. We do the same for submittals and much of our solutions across the product. You can also print the PDF, so you can create, right, just a nice action PDF in terms of status there. And then last but not least, I'm going to drop down to reporting. I'm going to go to RFI snapshot. So we have an RFI snapshot and a submittal snapshot. And this is going to do exactly what it sounds like, which is give you a nice overview of your RFIs, the status on those RFIs, and who's bottlenecking what by how many days. All of our reports are going to be shareable via URL link as well. You'll see copy and share throughout the entire product suite. Another report that is really neat that we do is response rates. So you run that report and it's basically performance on RFIs and submittals. So it'll show you based on percentage of on-time responses, right? So that's pulling from by user, right? So that's pulling from, I've assigned Adam, a due date 11 times, right? Twice they've responded late, and thus they're getting this performance rating, both for RFIs and for submittals below. Cool, so now I'm going to jump up to schedules because we saw that overlay functionality. So I'll show you where that lives. So I did construction schedules. You can create as many as you'd like, issue access to specific schedules, and then you could also roll schedules up into a master schedule. You'll see here, you add your phase, and then once you have your phase, you'll add your task, right? So you got your critical path dependency. You can add some delta to that. You could link other schedules like I mentioned. You add your milestone or not. Link budget items, so I'll create smart forecasting for you, and that's how this scheduling tool gets built out, gets populated. You'll have your list view here, milestone view, if you want to see milestones in particular, and then you also have your shareable Gantt chart master schedule view here. Dropping back one to the schedule landing page, you'll see we've created an example here, base versus actual. So you have the ability to, first of all, duplicate schedules and throw them across your portfolio of projects, or just duplicate them within your project. You can anchor one of your schedules and then overlay another. So in our example here, base versus actual, and that'll allow you to understand, how you're running your project, if you're, on time, behind schedule, ahead of schedule, etc. All right, next is I'm going to, I think, jump up to the accounting module, show you some of those functionalities. So I'm going to start with budgets. So our budgets tool is really what kind of controls the entirety of the accounting module. So we have to first set up your budget. Once you have your budget, you can then start leveraging, right, contract management, AP invoice management. Once you finalize a budget, you can therefore start leveraging the change order tool and payment applications. Nonetheless, we'll start here, add a new budget on top right. Again, same structure everywhere on the product, add it as a budget or as a schedule of value, and it will reflect here accordingly, however you've created it. You can make as many as you'd like. Again, you'll see this access control like we've been seeing all over the product for each individual budget line item, a part of the permission control layers. You can also roll up budgets into a master. You could roll up schedule values into individual budget line items. So lots of flexibility in the budget tool. Everything you're seeing is just an example. All of the categories, line items, cost codes, item numbers, amounts, it's all up to you, right? It's for you to create. Again, this is just an example. You can start off by uploading via Excel using our format as you see there. And how this starts is, right, you'll first create a category. We got 3 cost types. You can use all of them. You could use one of them. Again, up to you. Within your cost type, right, you'll add that category accordingly, and it'll produce this gray line item. From there, you just select this plus action, and that'll allow you to build out line items within that category. So again, you can be very micro here where, for example, you can leverage the linking capability that I mentioned, where you click that link action and you could roll up budgets into this line item, or you could roll up schedule values into this line item. Or if you don't want to go that granular, you can have literally, we're here on hard costs. So for example, you can say, GC and have one line item. Then within that line item for the GC, you can bid out, right, different bids. Or if you are a GC, you can really leverage the tool to a significant depth where every line item you could bid out to your vendors. So here I selected the demo line item. Again, just as an example, it could say GC, it could say architect, it could say demo, it could say structural, whatever. So every single line item, regardless of how you name it, will have a backup bid room to it. So this is your bid room. The vendors will have a bid portal, which is separate from this room. I'll show you what that looks like. So you'll see here on the top right, import vendor from CRM, project director, or add them new. All pretty self-explanatory, right? Basic information. Those vendors will receive whatever information you want to provide them in your bid room, right? So again, this is your portal. So if you created line item criteria for your bidders to bid on, Jet will automatically level for you. If you added a schedule value, if you link the schedule value in, it would automatically populate here, or you can just do that automatically. Here's your bidder's schedule. So this is, again, add schedule task and just build it out however suits you. So drawing review, site visit, bid submission, etc. You'll see here we've created milestone examples. Here is where you link drawings for your bidders to receive and bid on. And then this is a one-way facing message board for you to add messages that will blast out to all of your bidders. So your bidders, what they'll receive is, again, using the correspondence capability specific to this solution, which is bid management in this line item. This is your vendor's bid portal that you also, of course, have access to so that you could correspond with them. They will receive, again, the information that you provided them, right? So the line item criteria that we provided, as you see here, the drawing files that we've linked for them to have access to. Message board, right, will reflect here the schedule. And then again, if you missed anything, you always have the ability to just simply communicate, drag and drop additional files. And here is where your bidders will submit their literal bid, right, their bid package itself. And again, that will back into, right, the leveling table so that it'll automatically level for you. We also have an AI generated scope of work capability. It's really neat. You get to play around with it, and it will understand what line item you're in. So it'll build out an SOW for you for demolition in this example, in this case. So from here, as you can see, you have the ability to award one of these vendors their bid, right, the contract. So that means that this amount will be reflected on your budget. You can also generate a contract from the bid portal, or you can generate a contract from the contracts tool, or from our standard DocuSign integration that works with your DocuSign account and allows you to run through the workflows accordingly. They're all interlinked either way, so it's really just up to you. We have a lot of neat reports here like bid status log, buyout log, forecast to complete, and you can also view and share your budget with breakdowns. And this is just another nice report that you can share in a multitude of ways. That's also kind of live, right? So you can mess around with the expanding categories or subtracting categories, hiding them. Awesome. So next is I'm going to jump into the contracts tool. So this is going to follow, right, whatever budgets that you've created. So if you have one budget, it'll just show you one right here. It'll also tell you, right, of course, if it's finalized or not. Going into this project master example, here are the commitments that we've created so far based on these line items. And again, you can add the contract from this tool. You don't have to do it from the bidding portal. Again, it's going to be interlinked either way. Jumping in there, and why I just click that demo awarded contract that we created is because you'll see here it'll carry all of the data from day one. So you have a singular stream of information with this vendor from the bidding cycle all the way through to project closeout as it relates to their contract, right? Your commitment with them. So really nice consolidated means of tracking information with each vendor. On the contracts perspective, you're going to see here some just quick overview of where you stand on that contract as it relates to the original amount and any changes or payments that have been made throughout your process. That is pulling from both the AP, the invoice management portal, right? So I'm going to go into a project master and you'll see here, right, the commitments that we've created that will automatically populate in our project master based on the contracts. Each one of these have their individual invoice portal where you could, again, run your workflow process, run your due dates, right? Have your correspondences to approve, reject, or ask for a resubmit on the invoice. So if in the fact that it's paid, it'll reflect on that contract's overview like you saw. If in fact it's approved, it will reflect on your on the relevant payment application accordingly, which is something we'll see in a moment. However, before we go to pay apps, I'll go to change orders. So the difference between what you're seeing now and the other accounting solutions like AP and contracts is change orders and pay apps will only reflect finalized budgets, right? So I'm going to go into that finalized budget example, project master for change orders. And you're seeing here, it starts off by adding a PCO. It'll only change to a change order once it's fully approved, which could be based off of, for example, a predefined custom workflow that you created, right? That you can also adjust manually if you'd like. You can associate this with an RFI, with a contract, with a contractor, with the, change to scheduled dates, recipients, etc. So same kind of workflow that we've been seeing everywhere else. A nice differentiation that we have here on the change order management, the PCO management tool, is you'll see here this layers action icon, and you have the ability to associate a single change order with multiple line items in your budget. So this is pulling from what you're seeing on this dropdown. This is pulling from the budget that we made, right? So the dropdown line item list would reflect whatever budget that you created. So it's a really nice tool that allows you, again, to allocate a single change order across multiple line items in your budget in one place, in one dashboard, as you're seeing right here. So before we jump into our payment application tool, I'm going to drop down to reporting, and I'll show you some reports that will automatically be produced based off of some of the solutions we just reviewed. So go to contracts, I'll run it off our project master, and you're going to see here, right, all of our commitments and the invoices associated with those commitments, whether they're paid, open, or approved. And then below that, you'll see also change orders, right? All of the change orders by trade, by commitment, and their status, along with the amounts and dates. So that'll be a contracts overview report. Another report that is neat is the change order log, and that's going to do something similar to like what we saw for RFIs and submittals, right? It'll give you a nice overview in one dashboard, open, approved, pending, draft, etc., with the amounts accordingly. All right, so I'll jump back up now to accounting and pay apps. Again, it'll follow whatever budgets that you finalized. So again, up to however you've structured that. Right away, you'll see some really neat reports here on the top right, but before we get there, I'll show you our package functionality. It's a very powerful tool where in a 702, 703 format, again, following whatever budget structure you created, whatever categories you created, I'm scrolling down fast. You'll see here all of the associated approved change orders get linked to the pay app. Same thing with reallocation and contingencies, same thing with lien waivers and their backup files, same thing with all of the invoices and backup files, and then also just a general open template for any additional backups for this pay app cycle. So all of your backups get compiled and packaged into one place for every pay app, and you can access that by simply selecting this package icon. How that gets populated is you'll see here each vendor will have their respective portal or they can submit their payment application. We create an example here, right, with structural concrete where you can see view linked application. It'll show you their specific breakdown. Their added files, so their backup files like lien waivers, change orders, invoices, etc., all get compiled into that package element for your project master budget like we saw a moment ago. And this is all issued via access control. So your trays will only see their commitments, their pay apps that can therefore be linked up into your project master. So going back to our landing page for our project master pay apps, I'll show you some quick reports of budget spent to date. We got balance first completed, spending by period, some other macro details, and then also a line item breakdown showing you if you're over or under, right? And the only way you can be over a committed amount on Jet.Build is if you've approved a change order against this line item or if you've reallocated a contingency. So really hard to, I mean, it's near impossible to make a mistake where you'll be over a line item because you would have to have gone through the PCO process and approvals in order for you to exceed a line item amount. We got a lien waiver management tool, also acts as a status as well, right? So if you have a line item that doesn't have a change order, a lien waiver associated with it, that means they haven't submitted one yet, presuming that it's relevant that they do. And this will consolidate by pay app. All right, from there, I'm going to drop down to a few neat solutions like collaboration and permits. So permit management solution, right? So here you can log your permits, simply select add permit, log the information. Jet will automatically remind you. Same thing for all open items across the Jet solution. You will get automatic reminders as you've been assigned to something until you respond to it, if it's still open, if it's expired. So there's consistent reminders that are getting pushed out both via email and also in-app notifications until you address, right, what you've been assigned to, what your due dates are. We do the same thing for insurance management and COIs, right? So get all your insurance packages, log your COIs, let Jet.Build remind you and your teams before things expire. Next, under collaboration, we've got meeting minutes. Really neat tool, add meeting set. You can automate a frequency to this. You'll add your recipients who are involved, go into the meeting set, and you'll see here you have the ability to build out agendas that will automatically roll. So it'll pull your prior notes. And really what this tool is doing, it's very much action oriented. So the intention here is not necessarily to just give you a massive rundown of every word that was said. Rather, it's to say, okay, here are topics. For those topics, you have this link action icon where you can assign action items, right? Assign actionables for every single agenda that you run with due dates. And this information will populate into task management. I'll show you that in a moment. Lastly, agendas and minutes will also produce a really nice report. As you see, as you see here, that's also, again, shareable in any format. You can also toggle open versus closed. And it'll do the same for meeting minutes. We're looking at agendas, right, which is showing you prior notes as well. All right, tasks under collaboration, really neat tool because one, it'll populate based off of any assignments that you've been placed against from meeting minutes. You also have the ability to associate tasks with our work breakdown structure module, as well as our closeout module, right? So it's just a flexible tool. You can also just simply assign yourself reminders on this task management tool. But as you're seeing here, it goes more into a more robust manner, whereas you have workflows and such to also leverage in this tool. All right, last but not least, I'm going to jump up. We covered a good amount. There's a lot more to cover on Jet, but I'm going to go ahead and jump up to just some general action items on the top here. You'll see open items. Now, what's neat for project admins is that this will show all open items across all teams and projects that they're managing. And then you also have the ability to do ball in your court, so you can refine this to see, okay, here are all my open items across all my projects. All right, so that was a pretty quick overview considering we only touched, I don't know, 40%, 50% of Jet solutions. We have a ton more under construction, a handful more under collaboration, and some other solutions under accounting and also portfolio management as well. We'll keep posting this. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, contact at Jet.Build. If you want us to upload any specific solution deep dive video, please reach out and let us know as well. Thanks so much, everyone.